So there's something sort of like, well, screw you, I'm going to stay here, and be a hockey fan and be queer and be non-binary and be all of the things that I am. And you can suck it. My name is Vernie. My pronouns are they, them. I'm from Iowa. Um, what else do you want to know about me?
Whatever you want to share. If that's
Um,
it, that's okay too.
all right. Well, I have a master's degree in library science. Um, I am. I have a cat who is being a little noisy right now. You can kind of see her tail in the background. Um, I have been a hockey fan for about pretty seriously for about 12 years now. I went to college in Colorado at Colorado College. They have a D1 hockey program there. And so that's how I kind of got into it.
That
Yeah.
that cool. That sort of leads me into my next question is how did Vernie get into hockey?
Yeah, so I watched hockey a little before that. I was a figure skater as a kid. So hockey was always kind of on in the background at the rinks. But that's how I really got serious about it when I went to college, and started following my college team. And then from there, NHL games were always on in the student union and that kind of thing. So um, from there, I got really into the NHL and started following games, going to games when I could get the chance to get up to Denver. Um, and then I played hockey for a while in grad school.
And what do you love about hockey?
Um, I love the ice. Like, I like winter sports in general, and so I like the coldness of it. I don't know, um, but I really love the ice. Like, I figure skated as a kid, and I've always loved the rink. Um, and so the sounds it makes um, hockey are really nice. Um, I don't know, and then I like the speed of it. Um, I think it's a really interesting game to watch, and I like how fast paced it is. So I think that's kind of one thing that draws me to it, like on a non like ambient level.
I love that. There's so many beautiful aspects of it.
Hmm.
Based off of your intersection of identities, how could the sport be better for you? And also, how do you think the sport could be better for the queer community in the broader sense?
So I'm kind of trying still. I played women's rugby in college and as an undergrad. So I'm still navigating kind of the place as a non-binary person and as a person who is trans, kind of what that means in regards to like the sports I played and the place I had in women's sports, because I played women's hockey and I played women's rugby. And so I'm still sort of navigating that space. I don't really know, I haven't fully figured out like what that means for me or what that means. I fully believe that trans athletes should be able to play sports, but I don't fully, as a non-binary person, I'm still figuring out what that means for me. Um, I think one thing, I mean, in terms of trans people, I feel like there have been some kind of um I don't know, like I dislike the with the women's game, I am really uncomfortable with Digit Murphy's presence in the Toronto Six in the NWHL, and her place on the, I think, what is it, the Women's Sports Working Group? Is that what it is? That is the turfy organization. And I think that that can make especially trans athletes feel unsafe. I would like to see more active, kind of more active, what's the word I'm looking for, sort of movements or gestures made to actually accept trans athletes into the sport and support trans athletes for playing in however we can. And that would be, as opposed to sort of, I don't know, what sometimes feels a little bit like lip service. And then as a queer fan, sometimes, I don't know, there are things that sort of make me feel uncomfortable knowing, for example, like the juxtaposition of supporting cops who have been historically kind of an anti-queer organization, at the same time having pride nights and like with teams supporting pride, and like what does that really mean, like as what does that really mean for queer fans, and how safe are queer fans at games. I've never felt unsafe at a game, but I can imagine there would be situations. I have friends who have felt unsafe at games, and I think there are situations where queer fans could feel really unsafe. And so I think that there's kind of needs to be a reckoning that the sport has with coming to, like, do we really support queer fans? Are we really doing this to make money, or are we actually going to put our money where our mouth is?
I mean, yeah, like all of it. My only yeah. So with all that said, what keeps you in hockey?
It's like so I'm primarily a Canucks fan. And it's like I don't know, a bad penny always comes back to you. You try to give it away and it comes back. Which is a little bit of a joke and a little bit of like, I don't know, there's something, sometimes I look at the sport and, or I'll not watch games for a while and I'll, try and sort of distance myself from a place that I don't always feel welcome. And but then I always miss it. I can't quit it in the same I love watching hockey. I love listening to it. There's a thrill there that I don't think I get in other ways. So the sport itself is it's a very beautiful sport, like you said, which is weird to say because it doesn't necessarily seem like a super beautiful sport, but I think there's something really beautiful about it, and it is hard to stay away from that. So even when I sort of take time away from watching or even skating or whatever, it's always something I miss and want back in my life. So I always get sad at the end of, or, I'm always get a little, what's the word? Start to get antsy at the end of the off season. I'm ready to have hockey back. So It's definitely, I just can't quit it.
I feel that so much. It's like it just sucks us back in, and
Mhm.
but I'm kind of glad it does because then we take up space in it,
Yeah,
and that matters.
there's definitely like a contrarian thing about it, like people will, you'll see people on Twitter or even in real life sometimes be like, well, why does it matter like that queer fans or um that female fans or whatever, fans of color, all of those marginalized groups of fans, like why does it matter that they have um a voice, or that their presence is important, and like, or that people will be actively unwelcome. And so there's something sort of like, well, screw you, I'm going to stay here, and be a hockey fan and be queer and be non-binary and be all of the things that I am, and you can suck it.
Love that. What gives you hope for queer people in the sport?
you know I love, this is so um I don't know, something, I don't know why this gave me hope. It's kind of a weird thing to um that made me feel hopeful, but it was so, the Seattle Kraken's pride designs just delighted me in a way that I think other and some of that probably is because they don't have the presence yet to really like monetize and um like act in opposition to sort of a actually supporting queer people. But their logos that they put out just made me happy, um which uh is shallow. But I think also thinking about like the people who were on my hockey team in college, um we had a lot of players of color. We had at least two people, myself and one other person, who came out as non-binary and trans, and um, they like, we weren't good. We lost games really badly, but we all loved hockey. We loved playing it. We loved watching it. We liked talking about it. And we're just normal people who liked hockey a lot. And I think about the people who are on the team, and it makes me really hopeful um, for the future of the sport, because um, all of those fans were people who took up space, like you said. And that um, is a great feeling. So, um, you know, just that there are people out there who fully support each other, who, um, when my other teammate who's non-binary came out while they were still playing on the team, and the support the team gave them, the love the team gave them, was really inspiring, and made me feel really optimistic for the future of queer people in the sport, and not just like professionally, but people who play rec hockey or beer hockey, or you know just pond hockey, or lace up skates and show up on Sunday mornings, whatever. um I felt really hopeful about that.
That gives me hope too, and I'll tell you why. Playing hockey and being a part of hockey, uh, and being in those locker rooms with folks, your mere existence as a human being is humanizing it for them. And hockey people have hockey babies, and their kids are going to grow up and play,
Mhm.
and they're going to stay in the sport. And you knowing you having played with you will shift behaviors and attitudes for generations to come. So just by living and being yourself, you have created a ripple effect, and the magnitude is beyond anything you'll ever realize. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think it's really important to, I think that that experience in the locker room and on the bench and stuff really, um or just in general, being on a sports team, there's an accountability and a camaraderie that you develop on a sports team that, in my experience, you don't really develop elsewhere. um and it teaches you, I think it does teach you about people, um and teaches you to treat other people as humans. At least, I mean, obviously there are toxic environments that are probably far too common, but it can be a really positive experience.
Wonderful. Well, Vernie, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with us. Continue to inspire, continue to create space and take up space in this sport, because we need more people like you.
Thank you.